better openings.
Yeah, I have to say, I feel like Fabi has been very well prepared up to a point, but then you see him make a tiny slip up, and then he's defended very resourcefully.
We need to hook Chris Bird to the show and tell him, okay, we're ready to start. Let's go.
Let's go, yes. There we go. Handshake.
There we go.
Off we go.
And once again, to remind everybody, it's a 25-minute plus 10
No,
seconds.
10 minutes, 10 minutes plus 5 seconds, yeah.
I was so close on this one.
10 plus 5, then they play 3 plus 2, then they go into the Armageddon.
Right. I was thinking of the elimination.
And they're off.
Let me see. I need some help, I think.
Bishop to b5, a6, we have a standard Rui Lopez. Let's see if Wesley maybe will take a page from Shankland's book and take on c6. Going to the exchange Rui Lopez.
No, he's
none of that.
Bishop back. And it's very nice to see them not playing at Berlin. But will we see a Marshall? That's the next question.
Right, b5. Well, no, a classical archangel with bishop c5. I'm happy that I'm not seeing d2, d3. This is where the theoretical battles really start here. c3.
Yeah.
And let's go. a4 first.
Bishop to b7.
Bishop b7. And I'm expecting...
This is all very standard stuff. So
right.
But I have to say one thing. Fabi has chosen the sharpest line in this Rui Lopez.
Oh, yes.
I know because I used to play this myself many moons ago.
How'd you do?
I lost red. Well, I won some games, but then I got smashed off the board by Natasha Vujkovic.
Oh.
And after that, I thought, I'm not touching this.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my carrot card.
Soured you terribly. It's like certain players love the dragon and it's in their blood, but sometimes you get so badly wounded, it's like you drop kick the opening and the defense out the door.
Keep in mind what Hikaru said. He said that whoever is going to get better opening positions or will gain an advantage on time. And right now, Fabiano is up to minutes.
Well, that's significant in a 10-minute game.
Especially so early on in the opening, right?
And d2, d3 kind of shows that he backed down from the challenge, I want to say.
With c3d.
Yeah, c3d. And, let's see. You can go for the knight c3, knight d5 lines. They seem rather tepid.
And I think this is what
Bishop g5
should be doing. C3 was played
c3.
on 4. You should try to find a more tame approach in the position. Try to quiet the game a little bit as white, as Wesley, because he's falling down on time, and it's obvious that Fabiano is very much aware of what he needs to do in this position.
I'm really surprised. I see on my screen that it says Rui Lopez Morphy defense variation, which I would never associate this with Paul Morphy. A7, A6 is basically Paul Morphy's contribution on move 3. Not this stuff. This stuff is like really modern and, ultra sharp.
So in general, when you play so shy with white pieces, C3, D3, it feels like you're combining more than one plans. You started off with A4, hinting at the fact that you're going to attack the pawn on B5, then C3, D3. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Do you go for D5 and try to be aggressive, or D6? Well, we got the answer from Fabi.
Well, yeah, we didn't have to wait too long.
But I have to say, with C3, D3, I mean, what white is trying to do is actually try to get D4 and do it at a time when black is not ready to kind of catch them on the wrong foot.
And that was my question. Why not D5 instead of D6? But okay, we're going to get that answer at a different time.
Well, here, I mean, I don't see knight D2, knight F1 as the route. I would see knight A3,
Bishop G5.
knight C2, and knight E3 as a route to the center. He didn't. He played bishop to G5.
And if I were white, I would just say, go guns ahoy, go back.
Whoa.
But he doesn't. He actually does make the trade.
And he's going to go bishop to D5. So the idea is you give it the two bishops, but you ensure that with this move, bishop D5, black doesn't get to keep both of them. And this bishop, so White is saying, I want to play knight versus this bishop, and probably, once again, he's looking at ideas of playing b4, taking on b5, and playing knight to a3. So let's make a move for black, something probably not very good. I apologize. I'm just putting, so we can at least understand what Wesley is aspiring to do, which is to grab this pawn on b5. So that's why in this particular position, the theoretical move is what, Christian?
Oh,
we're still in theory.
b4.
b4, yeah. To make sure that you don't end up with a sore pawn on b5. Makes sense. Although I must say, suddenly, Fabi stopped. He played h6 a la tempo. Everything was going very, very well.
No, but he's gone for rook ab8, which has been played before.
Really?
But just in one game.
That's okay. It's a little confounding move, isn't it? Okay, so if I play, rook b8.
Wesley
b4,
doesn't need asking twice. b4 on the board.
I mean, we know what Wesley's up to. He's trying to create a weakness, the pawn on b5.
But sometimes what they do is you just give up the b4 pawn, so after pawn takes pawn,
knight a3,
knight a3 on the board.
Position, putting a lot of pressure on that b5 pawn.
Exactly.
By the way, it does seem, I was saying that this is not theory, but it was played between Sophie Millet and Kubichka Anna.
Yeah.
Perhaps, Jovi, you know these two players quite well.
Of course, I know Sophie Millet very well. She's an international master, very dangerous player, very aggressive. And the move that Black played there, and it makes a lot of sense, is actually to play knight e7.
Knight to e7. And after the trade of bishops, and dare I ask, what happens if I take a pawn?
Well, I think the idea is to go bishop takes pawn.
I was hoping you would do this because I have this nasty little idea that your queen is
on the same line as the rook. Oh dear.
Oh dear. Yes.
Oh dear. So that's not good.
That's the cheapo that I had in mind. So
that looks like a very difficult position right now for Fabiano. How do you defend that pawn on b5?
Not easily.
And if you don't, and allow my queen to go to a4 and target those weaknesses on the queen side, I mean, this is not looking good.
That can't be right. Because
and by the way, Fabi has less time on his clock right now than Wesley. At one point, he was up 2.5 minutes.
Right. Knight a3, putting the pressure, because Wesley stopped. And he played c3 and bishop g5, some kind of deliberation. And he was probably just, recalling his files and what he wanted to do. And then suddenly, Fabi, who had been playing
he takes on a4.
Easily stopped.
And he does that sometimes, right? Wesley does this type of pause and think and try to figure out what, even if he knows the theory, he will still pause and choose what he wants to do.
By the way, up to this moment, I think that this has been played before, including your knight e7 move. But takes on a4 is actually the novelty.
Perhaps a novelty.
And knight to c4. I like the queen takes a4 too. I didn't see anything wrong with that. Wesley's probably thinking it's nicer to take with the rook. He would.
This, I have to say, is a very uncomfortable position.
Truly.
For Black right now.
No joy in that bill here.
No, and I have to say, usually in these kind of archangel positions, the white bishop, you give up the b pawn, but the white bishop is hovering on g4. This bishop is on b7. It's such a bad piece.
Knight
and
e7.
knight e7 played.
Knight e7, bishop takes. He's so happy to get to capture that bishop off the board. Bishop takes and rook takes, and now instead of a weak pawn on b5, is a weak pawn on a6. And
okay, well, Fabi's actually decided he's going to hold on to that pawn for as long as he can.
Yeah, he's played the move rook. So, in anticipation of the one idea of knight g6 to knight f4 that I see for Black, g3, king g2, meeting you at the pass before you even get there is a setup that.
But I feel like I want to coax you to play the move knight to g6 so that I can dominate that knight with g3. So I'm going to wait for you. I'm going to get ready to double up on the a file, take the pawn on a6, and when you play the move knight to g6, that's where I go g3.
Did you see that little?
I did see that flick.
It was one of the ladies that did that.
Naji did that.
Naji did, like her opponent had not put the piece directly in the center. It's kind of like, it's a polite way of telling your opponent, hey, put your pieces in the center of the board. Queen e2, as you said, Wesley.
Yeah, just wait for it to go knight to g6, which he doesn't. He goes for the strike in the center with queen to e6, perhaps preparing the move.
Well, he recognizes that knight g6, knight f4 is going to lead nowhere, frankly. F3.
And perhaps even help white.
Yeah. So f5, opening up a different line. Okay, well, dare I ask, can I take the pawn? Rook a1.
Sometimes chess is
simple game.
Simple is as simple does. I mean, but okay, presumably Fabi wants to hold on to that pawn for as long as he can.
Rook a7.
Rook a7.
Is that Forrest Gump?
It is Forrest Gump.
Okay, just checking.
And after rook a7, can you go d4? Like, how are you going to increase the pressure in the position?
I like g3 and king g2, just sidestepping this bishop.
But then, I'm going to go f5, try to mix it.
So you're taking your time, is what you're saying?
Oh, yes, all day. I wait for f5. I mean, f5
okay, we're seeing it.
G3, exactly now.
Oh, we see that.
The players. So the idea, once again, if you go g3, f5, king g2, you've played f5, rook a3, Alatine's gone.
Triple
the double
on the a5.
Okay, now he has to go for it. He has to go f. But okay, so hang on a second. After a move like f5, if he decides to pull the trigger,
okay.
Are we going to see queen a2?
Why not?
Why not? And knight takes bishop is in the air. Pawn takes pawn is also threatened.
Yeah, the move f5, it comes with a little risk associated as well.
So perhaps what I can try for is just, let's say I take on e4 once, take back, I go king h7.
Whoa. My spidey sense tingled there.
Okay.
King h7, yeah, okay. Nothing untoward happened, I agree.
No, now you take on a6 and I'm actually out of time. I cannot take. That was my plan and try to shy away with that rook, go rook f8, but now you can force the trade of the queens with knight takes b6.
Yeah, that's just a nasty ending. Nobody likes that ending.
Yeah.
Black is going to need more than this, guys. Rook a3 on the board, a real challenge to Fabi as the clocks are
Even.
Yeah,
4 minutes, 58 seconds, 5 minutes, and 13 seconds for Fabi.
And we're really looking. I really want to play the move d5, and if I have to play f6 to play d5, well, I'm not happy, but I've got to do something.
But the problem is the queen is coming to a2.
Truly, knight
c6.
back to c6.
He's not going to b8, is he?
You know what? I think he might do.
No.
I mean, he's kind of following that whole idea. You've got one weakness. We defend that weakness with our life.
I mean, the visual of the doubled rooks on the a5 and the knight on d8. Oh my gosh. That looks like Ray's Pard. There's a chess grandmaster, Hans Ray from Holland. A tavern was named after him. And the tavern's name was Ray's Pard, and it wasn't meant to honor Hans Ray, but it was meant to mock him because the knight was so badly placed on b8. Ray's Pard. Ray's horse.
He might actually want to go there.
I know.
I think he will.
I do too.
And I think I'll be honest with you. I think it's a great idea. I think, we've been unsuccessful with dynamic attempts, and when that fails, you just have to grit your teeth
and seize the defensive.
Knight b8, rook a7, rook a8.
Nice.
Needs
By
must.
the way, I've been chiming in for some time. It took him a while, but G3. G3, King G2 is coming up. And just asking
into the show.
You know, this is like one of the things that certain openings do tend to do. This particular choice of opening has landed Fabi in an awkward spot. He's just playing defensive chess. And there are other defenses like the Sicilians, where when you lose a pawn, you get, compensation. A5.
Okay, that's a big
That's
move.
bold.
If it works,
B takes.
take
B
on
takes
A5.
A5. Okay, because D3, D4.
So
Well,
why
you
not?
got to
You
take
have to
with
take
the
with it
knight,
Why
right?
can't he take it back with the knight?
Yeah, you did. But isn't this a problem? Knight takes, pawn takes. Now, how are your knight? Like, if I play D5, does your knight get? I guess
Well,
it
you can-
does. Does it get back?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
will
think it
take
gets-
on D4 perhaps.
Take on d4 first.
Pause. Because I can take with the tempo, right? Knight takes. I mean, my
Okay.
intention, of course, was to take and to do something like this.
Knight takes B6.
And he's done it.
Yeah.
And now, let me just, this is the current situation, right?
He's still not out of the woods, but it does feel like it's much more pleasant than it was 3 moves ago, let's say.
Yeah, but
This
okay.
A5 move was important.
Okay, but once again, B4? Yeah, pardon me, D4.
Rook to B4, targeting
Ooh.
the B6 pawn.
Okay, that's a switcheroo. The old switcheroo.
Saying that, okay, you had one weakness. I focused on it for a very long time. Now let's go to the next one.
Wow.
And probably Fabi's going to say, okay, I'm doubling up on the B file now. Let's go to B7
I
here.
mean, we saw this one game of Ray Robson's where it was a real master class in the ending. We might be seeing a middle game by Wesley So, which equally is an extraordinary master class. Rook B4, that's a heck of a move. What about D4 now?
Oh, that looks juicy.
Now that the rook has been lured to the A6 square, I'm loving this move D4.
That is juicy.
But he's not reaching for it.
Towards that move. Rook to B5 and maybe only after rook to B5, now D4 is a threat.
Wow.
He's really trying to focus on that one on E5.
But what is the idea after the knight retreats? You're just taking and going
Take on
queen
A6
B2?
and go D4, yes.
I wasn't sure. Seriously, I mean, yes, taking on A6 and D4, yes. Anything to be said for rook B3?
Yes, that's
Also.
a move as well.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's like I
But now
just
maybe I
about
can go-
have supremacy everywhere. Better on the king side, better in the center, better on the queen side.
Yeah, no, it's not a difficult task to defend, not an easy task to defend this position with the black pieces for Fabiano.
No.
And
Another
he's falling
option
down
could
on
be
time
knight
as well.
B7.
3 minutes and 30 seconds for him. 3 minutes and
Because
15.
knight c6.
Knight
West.
to C6, yeah. The thing about knight B7, then I'm going to trade, play D4. The
And-
knight on B7 is lousy.
Locked in.
Lousy.
And
Here, by the way, I'm a pawn grubber, so I would be asking questions like rook takes and queen A3.
Okay, I have
queen
some
A3 too.
ideas in case you go rook to B3.
Okay, what's your idea?
I have an idea. Queen h3.
That was, you stole my idea, Joe.
Oh, sorry.
You gotta give a guy a chance.
Sorry,
You gotta-
my apologies.
I mean,
She really stole that.
boy, did she ever. She reached right into your mind.
Took it away.
Then took it away. No, you know what? Take that rook. Play king G2.
No more queen H3
No
business.
queen H3 businesses. Prep the move queen E3.
Yeah, but wait 1 second. You've got moves like. I'm just trying to. I'm thinking now that you
Say
have to
it.
unbalance the whole
Yes.
situation. So move the knight, and I was thinking E7. Just
He
like
did
Fabi,
it.
he did it.
He did it.
No, we go d4 now? Or d4, do you have... No, but knight to g6 is going to be met by rook takes e5. Wait a minute.
d4 opens up a nasty... No, there isn't.
But you've got rook a2, and you also have knight c8 as a full...
We'll check this out.
Yes.
We'll fall for the trap.
Knight f4.
We'll fall for the trap.
That's okay, but how is that? I don't think that's good for you. I take on f4.
Not good for me.
No.
I was so proud of myself. I was about to
king f1.
give myself some sort of congratulatory,
perhaps queen c8, queen f5
medal.
And the players are both hovering around 2 minutes.
Oof. This looks really, really good.
Queen to e3.
Where do we stand? Pardon me.
Rook to a3 was the move, but after rook to a3, doesn't that give white the option of closing things up with c4 and then later on focusing on the e6? Queen e3.
Knight to e7, queen e3.
And now rook to a3 was the...
This is the current position, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Oof.
This is a very tense game right now.
Truly.
c4.
But after c4, do you still have ideas of knight g6, sorry.
Maybe even knight c8.
I'm a little bit more attracted to the move. No, queen c1, rook b3. Apologies. Yeah.
And perhaps this
c4 on the board. And so we're expecting either
knight c8?
Okay, I was wondering knight g6.
You can get aggressive with knight g6 and queen g4, right?
Well, I wanted to go knight f4.
H3 is going to shut you down. So if you go knight g6, I just want to make sure that I don't suffer the consequence of queen g4, knight f4 check. And guess what? You can kiss your pawn goodbye.
Refuted, yes,
no. That's what pawn grubbers do.
Fabi
c4 and the clocks are?
He's ticking down. He's under 1 minute.
Minute and 15 seconds for Fabi, minute and 40 seconds for Wesley.
C8. Okay, so with the knight super passive, now it's time for this knight to do its own little dance.
What do you want?
How does it get to d5? That's the...
Knight e2, knight b1,
knight h4.
Well,
c3, knight d5.
Knight g2, knight e3. Well, for the moment, knight f5 is on the agenda. g6 stopping. What?
Oh, he's given up the pawn on h6.
And I think...
But rook takes d3.
Well, he kind of visibly rocked backwards when he realized...
Wait a minute.
There's knight f3.
F3 and knight g5.
Knight
I mean,
g5.
that's a big question. But
that
maybe
is...
queen f6, queen g7 defends it. Who knows? Knight to f3. Wesley trusts his opponent. King g7, h4. Taking even more space. I'm not sure how I feel about this move, h4.
I'm not sure.
Mostly because I allow this queen to come to g4 so easily.
Something about the move knight h4. I was thinking we were going to go knight to d2 to b1 to c3 to d5, and I liked it when the knight went to c8 immediately. To quote Walter Brown.
Queen f6.
F6.
These guys are going down the wire.
I don't know what the queen is actually doing on it. If I play h5,
he just needs to make a move right now.
But h5 looks very, very attractive.
Well, your knight d2
knight to d2, he's going for the plan with knight b1.
Yeah, I always like... The knights love outposts that are well defended. Rook a5.
Definitely not going to trade those.
No, we're not. Rook a... And give you a pass pawn, not on your life.
Rook a3. Knight to b1.
That was the whole plan.
He did not like that. Fabi shook his head. Was like, oh no, I missed that. Okay, one knight c3. Despite the fact that you are having some control around my king on g2, you don't have a follow-up.
Queen e6, but the knight finally landed on the gorgeous outpost, knight d5, and that really should spell doom.
I think right now
the b6
Fabi is
queen g4, just trying to be as irritating as possible by lurking. Queen to d1.
Don't play queen f3 because rook to g1 will come on board and finish the game.
That is true.
That is
queen
the one trick you need to avoid.
Queen d1 is lurking.
Knight c3 goes back to defend
He
against
doesn't.
queen to d1.
He doesn't like allowing rook a3.
These guys are full of tricks.
I know. Isn't it the truth?
They're so resilient. So difficult to defend.
And resisting playing f3, rook back to a1.
Yeah, don't go f3.
Clocks times?
The clock times are Fabiano is around 40 seconds and Wesley now ticking close to a minute.
And he's back on d5. Okay, so in this case, he's actually threatening knight to e3.
Rook to d1.
Rook to d1. Queen will go to c2. And he's got knight e3. Queen to c3, I apologize. And he's got knight e3, forking queen and rook.
But the rook is simply going to move.
But if he goes back to a1 right now, do I have
Then-
some b6 ideas? Perhaps?
Yes. Oh, he's allowed it. He's allowed knight e3 and rook takes b6 because there is a discovery against the rook coming up. Queen to d7. So he can snare a pawn.
Rook takes b6, picks up
Or
the pawn.
how
Finally,
about
after
d4?
such
D4. No, he snared the pawn. Okay. There wasn't even a chance for, exploiting space with d4, but okay, pawn more. Knight to a4.
f4 by Wesley.
By the way, earlier in their game today, Wesley did manage to win a pawn, but not the game. It was actually a pretty darn good defense by Fabi. He'll have to do it again. f4, queen e8. d4? d4?
g4.
d4, d4.
I like knight g4. Just
Knight g4.
perhaps take on e5 first, then knight g4.
That would provoke f6 and then queen c1. I like it. I like where you're going. What's better than being one pawn up?
h5, okay. But how do we feel about this? You cannot take back with the pawn on g6 because queen a7 comes on the board.
Correct. You have to take with the king, but that means the knight gets that gorgeous outpost on f5. Normally, that's good enough for some kind of checkmating.
Let's go knight f5, right?
Right.
Knight f5, knight takes d3, queen d1, and the queen comes to g4. That's not looking promising for black.
Nope.
Oh, he's in there.
You bet. That is such a powerful knight on f5 square now. Oh. Clock time's
The pressure
Okay,
is
so
reaching the
Fabi
boiling
has
point right now.
15 seconds.
And
So
he's
he-
played king. Oof.
He's had to tuck his king in the corner, but I mean, still you have moves like
To get ready to
Queen
defend the pawn on
C1.
h6 with the queen on the 6th
Queen
rank,
D1.
queen e6.
Guys, I'm
I like
looking
this
at
move.
queen
That was a very good
a7.
defensive
No,
Yeah.
queen a7. Queen a7, knight d3, queen e3. He's played queen a3. I like this move, but I like queen a7
Queen c6,
even
now
more.
queen a7.
And he's done it. Good catch.
And now black has to go knight to d7. Nothing else works.
He's done it.
Queen to a5, the queen is coming towards d8. Getting closer and closer to the king.
To that f8 square, the glorious f8 square.
Queen to g6, queen to d8,
Queen c7 is
queen
also
to
possible.
d5.
Queen to e6. Queen
That's
to...
a
Oops,
that's a clinical move by
Fabi making that move with 2 seconds to
2
spare.
seconds.
Okay, the
and there goes
e-pawn has dropped.
There goes a pawn. That's pawn number 2. Knight to g4. I'm assuming queen f4.
Queen f4 looks good because you can
Just
meet
hang
queen
around.
h5 with
Well,
knight to
queen
h4.
e7.
Queen
The,
e7. No, he hand checked.
hand check.
patient.
Is that what it's
Into-
called?
Wait a
Hand
minute.
check?
D4.
Queen comes to d2. Okay, this is not that easy anymore.
Oh no! He that queen e7 would have been the right
h5,
move.
Fabi's fighting.
Kicking still.
10 seconds for Wesley. This is not over. c5, f6, not h4.
Well, we do have
6, 5,
What is happening?
4,
3.
Looking at
Ooh.
some checks. Queen to b7 is a big threat.
It certainly is. Queen b7 is nasty. You go king g6. Queen will land on.
And Fabi with seconds on the clock. He has
5 seconds. Has to go back with the knight. That's not
a good sign.
C6 on the board.
Right. C6.
Queen to G4.
He's got knight
E7.
And I think he's going to throw in a few checks. I wonder whether...
You bet. Throwing a lot of checks.
Definitely help his cause, because Queen to E7, Queen takes F6 is coming, and that's
And
key.
there it is. Whew.
What a tense battle that
Wow. But I have to say, I was impressed that Wesley got an advantage and he kept it the entire time. That's really hard to do against these guys. You slip up for the a moment, they're out. But what a victory in this first tiebreaker.
An impressive game by Wesley.
Truly.
He kept control the whole game.